Darryl Worley in the studio. What up, country boy?
That's confusing. When he calls you D, it's like I look because down home, that's 25 years, Big D. And so my wife asked me this morning, you and Big D going to tussle over that title this morning?
There can only be one
you
Big
can be
D.
tall D. He can be Big D.
I can just be Fat D. I got Tall D and Fat D. Yeah.
Well,
No,
they have big and tall stores, so,
And I go to both of them.
I did too. I did too. Boy, they do love them some big and tall prices, though.
Boy, you got that right.
Boy,
It's
I
like-
tell you, man, there's
And it's actually kind of like Sam's Club clothes, but they still want you to pay those high dollar prices.
Well,
I'm like, what?
It's what we used to call the fat tax. You have to pay for the extra. You have to pay for the extra material.
Yeah.
But I think it's also a tall tax too.
oh, there's
There's definitely, man. I want to tell you, you just brought up a really funny story. I'll make it quick. But we were in Korea, and they were telling me how you could go to this place called the New York Tailor and get suits and,
Yes.
and overcoats and all this stuff
Super
made
cheap.
for just
I did that when I lived in
beans.
Guam.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, man, we went down this place, and they were lining all of us guys up, and I come in. He goes, $250 for a hand-sewn suit.
The price is almost still the same.
They
It was
deliver it the
$200
next
for me.
day.
What?
I mean, and so I go in when it's finally time for my fitting, and the guy and these little Korean ladies come in. They're pulling up these footstools to get up on to measure me and doing all this stuff. And the guy comes in and owns the store, and he comes over to me and goes, $250. He said, you 300. And he told me how much the overcoat was. He goes, you use up all my material.
That's right. Yeah. It's a thing, man. It's a real thing. Darryl's got a new one out with him and just a couple other guys. You may know Chris Jansen and Justin Moore. It's called Tractor Time. We got Darryl Worley in the studio coming right back. Tractor Time, Darryl Worley, Justin Moore, and Chris Jansen. There really is nothing better than I want a big tractor that I can just go and – well, people call us all the time like, hey, what are you doing? I'm on the tractor down. Just listen to you guys. I'm like, God, I want to do that.
You should get one, man.
I don't have enough room to
I don't have the room or the land either. But yeah, there's
Listen,
something.
if you've got a big tractor, you can make room.
Well, I do. I'll do the same thing like with lawn, just mowing the lawn to me, or just getting outside and doing some kind of little work is the same as tractor time.
Oh, I mean, that's why we put that whole. I told my co-writer, I said, Phil Billy, we need to think about the people that don't have lawnmowers and tractors and bush hogs and all this stuff, because I said, it's playing golf and it's fishing and it's all that. It's just getting out there and doing what you do that gets your mind off of all the garbage we deal with every day. So.
Darryl Worley is with us. Tractor Time, again, is the name of that. We'll talk more with Mr. Darryl Worley on the way next. Hang on. Darryl Worley in the studio with us, and check him out online, darrylworley.com. By the way, there are so many servicemen and women who are listening to us on AFN as we are around the world. People are listening to the show. And you have, I don't know, I'd say there's probably 5 artists top of my head that when I think of our military, I think of them. You're one of them.
Thank you.
Craig's one of them.
How many USO tours have you been on, Darryl?
Well, a lot. You may be aware of this, may not. A lot of our tours weren't. Sometimes we'd have a USO affiliation. Sometimes we wouldn't. So if you lump it all together, I was in the war zone in Afghanistan about 13 or 14 times, and then about the same number to Iraq. And then we've traveled all over the world, Honduras, the southern islands of the Philippines, Japan, you name it. We've been just everywhere to entertain the troops.
Did you go to Diego Garcia?
No.
Oh, okay. Nobody goes there.
No.
Nobody. I'm sorry, Diego Garcia.
I'll put that on the list, though.
When you're there and you go into Have You Forgotten, is it unbelievable, the energy when
It's
you're doing
surreal.
that? I bet it is.
I've just used that word. I was talking to my wife about it. One of the very first times we ever found ourselves in that situation was my first trip to Afghanistan. And I should say my second trip, because we'd already written Have You Forgotten in it, and it sort of had a lot to do with us going back so many times. But when you perform that song in front of several thousand troops, and I mean they're not just like hanging out at the National Guard Armory. They're there locked and loaded and ready to do business, and you got a little group of SF guys over here, and you got a big old bunch of Navy SEALs over here, and it's just and when you play that song, 3,000 people sounds like 30,000 people. It's just insane. And I mean, my wife goes, surreal. That's the word, surreal, and it is. It's just that. And
Well, it's kind of the way I always. There was one of my favorite albums from back in the day was Charlie Daniels Live in Iraq.
Yeah,
and it was because of the energy.
Sure,
and that's exactly what you're talking about. I've never experienced that where it's. I mean, I'm just telling you that crowd is a different kind of crowd.
Yeah. Well, you also learn what's going on in the war zone when you spend quite a bit of time doing those trips. And that's just an intense situation. There's no people say they try to keep you on the big bases and stuff. Well, we traveled with the Sergeant Major of the Army a lot, so we didn't stay on the big bases. But that's where the big, like, USO shows would be with all the different artists and people. But he saw us with those flat tops, and he came to me early on in the first journey and said, "Will you go out with us to the, do the short hops to all these places I have to go?"
You went and did like the fobs?
We did them all.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you should see my documentary. It'll blow your mind.
All right, where do I find it?
I'll get it for you. But I mean, you can find there's some places online. But
Darryl's the most country dude ever. Like, where can I watch your documentary? I'll get it for you.
Yeah, I'll get you.
What if I'm not the only one who wants to watch it?
Selling them in the back of your. You got to pop open your trunk and sell them.
What is the name of the documentary? And then any of our 17 listeners can go and find it as well.
Oh my gosh. What is the technical name of that thing?
Wow, are you really even in one? What's going on?
Oh man, it's an amazing, about a 50-minute documentary. Pack Dog Productions out of Knoxville. We took one of their camera guys with us on one of the journeys, and then he pieced together footage from years and years of trips. It's just.
Did you ever times where you're like, I don't think this is gonna be close?
They kind of encourage us not to talk about that a lot, but it's been so long now, and you'll see some of that on the. It's so weird. I sent footage of all these moments where there were several moments like that because
where you're like in a helicopter and getting shot at, and you're like, okay, what are we doing?
We almost took a RPG on the side of the helicopter that I was sitting on coming out of Mosul one day, and it was so close. If you know where the skids on the bird are, so there's ordnances on there too. The rocket came between those and my door.
What?
Yeah, and so a lot of people who have done lots of tours have experienced things like this. It's just, I sent some of my footage to the military because we have to clear everything with those guys to use it in the documentary. And it's so weird because they would cut all that stuff out. They'd say, "Okay, you can use right up to this, and then you can start back here." And I said, "That's the part I was."
Right.
And they said, "Yeah, we know what you were wanting to use, but if we let you put all that out there, then we'll never ever get anybody to go back and do this again."
Oh, well, that's a good point. Wow. Good point. All right, Darryl is with us. Got a guitar? Maybe we do some singing. We'll do a song or so. We'll do that.
Man.
We'll do that coming up next. Hang on.
All right.
Hey, Darryl Worley in the studio with us, talking about the new song "Tractor Time" with Justin Moore and Chris Jansen. Talking about
it's a jam,
getting a little,
it's like alone time, it's chill time, it's
meditation.
A time to clear your head.
It's redneck therapy.
That's right. That's right. You can check out tour dates on his website, darrylworley.com. darrylworley.com. Is there any way I can can I request a song?
Oh, like for him to play?
I know. Is there any way you could do "Beautiful Life," "Awful Beautiful Life"?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, I'll do it. It's just I got to tell you a funny story about that song.
I got a feeling you're not going to play it.
No, I'm gonna do it. I'll do it. I'll do it for you.
No. What is it too early? Is it? We can pick whatever you want to play.
No, I'm happy to do it. Here's the deal. This song.
I have to sing it. You play. I sing.
This song has there's a very distinct, like, honky-tonk guitar riff in this song, and it runs through the whole song. See if I can. That. And I'll give you a great example. So I asked Wade Hayes one night, we were doing this acoustic thing. I said, "Wade, will you play that lick throughout the song?" And he goes, "Let's turn it on." So we turn the record on. He listened to it, and he's figuring it out on his guitar because he's an incredible guitar player.
Yeah.
So when he got it down, he said, "I got you. I can do this." And I taught him the chords to the song real fast. And he goes, "Yeah, I'll play that lick for you." And I asked him, I said, "I got to know, man, could you play that lick and sing the song at the same time? And he goes, hell no.
It's kind of like
It's
rubbing
just
your
one of
head
those
and-
things.
It sounds very complicated. Here, wait. Here, let me go ahead and there we go.
But I can do the song. It'll just be, I'll limp through it.
So if there's a point where you go like you can tell you're just, really struggling and just focusing on the guitar, then we'll just kind of in our heads sing along.
You guys just sing along anyway.
All right, here we go. Darryl Worley in the studio with us.
I woke up early with a pounding in my head. I'd been out the night before with all my friends. A little worried, kind of wondering what I did. I said, Lord, please forgive me for my sins. My wife wanted to kill me, but she tried to save me first. You're going if I have to drag your butt to church. And I love this crazy tragic, sometimes almost magic, awful beautiful life. I read the hymns and kind of sort of sang along. I made it through the Sunday sermon wide awake. We met the family for dinner at our home, drank some beer, watched the game, and cooked some steaks. My little brother had a big fight with his wife, and my poor mother sat between them both all night. I love this crazy tragic, sometimes almost magic, awful beautiful life. We said a prayer for cousin Michael in Iraq. We're all aware that he may never make it back. We talked about the way we missed his stupid jokes and how he loved to be a sailor more than most. I laid in bed that night and thought about the day and how my life was like a roller coaster ride. The ups and downs and crazy turns along the way. Now it'll throw you off if you don't hold on tight. You can't really smile until you shed some tears. Well, I could die today, or I might live on for years. And I love this crazy tragic, sometimes almost magic, awful beautiful life. I love this crazy tragic, sometimes almost magic, awful beautiful life.
Wow, yeah, you really screwed that up. Darryl Worley.
Dude,
My
that was
goodness,
great, man.
Oh, thank you.
Man, just thank you so much for coming in, and thank you for your service to not only country music, but to our U.S. servicemen and women. It means a lot to us, and it means a lot to them. Thank you.
Thank you, man. You guys do the same thing, and I hear it a lot. And, just your support of those people, it means the world to them. So thank y'all for having me out and playing the new song. And,
It's
Everybody
called,
check out Tractor Time.
Yeah, Tractor Time with Justin Moore and Chris Jansen as well. And tour dates, go to DarrylWorley.com. He's just at Darryl Worley on the old Instagram. Well, because over the years, teenage kids have told you to like and subscribe, we don't have to say that anymore.
You know what to do.